Politics since Gen Z has taken over has taken a complete 90-degree turn. All around the world, movements led by Gen Z have taken place. Unlike a lot of other generations, more and more people learn the truth about society that they live in, and instead of sitting around and feeling powerless about it, they do something. They show the people that they have power and that the government officials don't exist to ruin things for citizens, but rather they exist for the sake of the citizens and to help the citizens of the area live a more prosperous and peaceful life. In September of 2025, the Nepali government tried to put a ban on social media, which caused the uprising of its people to overthrow and fight. It may sound like a bit of a funny reason to overthrow a government, but the premise shows that the people aren't afraid. They will stand for what they think is correct and do what they think is needed to be done. And even afterwards, they didn't leave the city in some type of mess. They didn't overthrow, protest, make a giant ruckus of everything, and then leave the city in a mess for somebody else to clean up. No, the citizens went in, cleaned up afterwards, and they did what they could to rebuild. In 2024, in Bangladesh, the government wanted to impose a quota system for the workforce that was seen as discriminatory. The Gen Z got up and led a fight against the prime minister at the time, who then resigned, and then they put in a new one to fix the mistakes the last one made. The Gen Z aren't standing up for anything like that. In 2022, Sri Lanka did something similar. 2020, Peru did something similar. And there's many cases in recent times, within the last 5 years, of where Gen Z has gotten involved in political movements because the country in which they live at either tried to pass a bill or tried to do something that was seen as wrong in many ways, such as in Bangladesh adding a quota system for work, which was seen as discriminatory. And I could go on and on about governments being toppled and bills being rejected. But the point being is that this generation, despite its downsides and its negative exterior look and being made fun of by millions for being kind of wayward, they're the only generation that within the last couple of years were able to visibly stand up for wrongdoings, speak out over it, and actually revolutionize the area that they live in. Millions of people are protesting for the freedom of Palestine, Sudan, Congo, and other countries going through hardships. No generation has noticed global collapse and economic issues the way Gen Z has. Unfortunately speaking, though, despite how good things have been in that aspect, there's also the bad side. A wide majority of Gen Z also have made up populations of wayward groups that with belief systems stemming into extreme areas of the spectrum, either heavily far left, far right, or even erupting into fascist groups. And it's not even just Gen Z that are doing that. There are other generations of older people that are also leading heavy into one of those or going wayward into fascism. Some are heavily pro-LGBT or pro-other liberalistic movements. Others are pro-democratic movements, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the tendency to force things into an extreme of one or the other has become normalized within the society and within the generation, and which then can get crossed with a wide spectrum of extreme one side or other. The issue with being like that is the fact that if everyone is either hard one side, hard the other side, and not enough people are in the middle, or even not even in the middle, if not enough people are willing to meet in the middle, then society is going to eventually collapse, which is what we're seeing now. But a good amount of Gen Z are starting to become in the middle, or at least see that for them to live a better life, that they're going to need to cooperate with the other side and be okay with certain other things. So one thing that the generation and society as a whole that they need to work on is compromising. We've established that being able to fight for what's right and what's needed is good. Being able to revolutionize and speak up against bad things that happen in the world, it's being done on a daily basis. But they haven't established how to properly communicate in a way that can provide clarity for both sides, and to speak to each other casually without erupting into a full-blown argument. Given that some topics on discussion is bound to happen, but other stuff not as much. Once this generation and society learns to speak with each other with clarity and understanding, and they're able to compromise its society in a beneficial way, all can lead to the world being a much better place. Because as long as the world continues to hey, I'm far left, hey, I'm far right, hey, I strictly only believe these things, or hey, I'm strictly wayward into this type of group. If no one's able to compromise, no one's able to speak, no one's able to do anything with each other, no one's going to succeed. Society is going to collapse, and nothing is going to end well for anyone, because that's currently what's happening now. When the United States was first created, George Washington never intended for there to be an only two-party state. That's specifically what he was trying to avoid. He didn't want a two-party state. He wanted a multi-party um, election system where anyone could go in and run for presidency. Anyone with any type of belief, they could make their own party, run individually, whatever. Now it's either you're left or you're right. If you're in the middle, nobody cares about you. If you run as an individual, you get looked down upon. If you don't have enough money, nobody cares about you. If you can't get enough funding, nobody cares about you. If you don't sign papers with corporations for funding and other crap, nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. So now the entire system is messed up. If more and more people are willing to compromise, they're willing to be more open to different discussions, and they're even willing to switch their worldview from a far left or right extremist view to a moderate in the middle view, where things can be discussed, things can be talked about, and different topics aren't going to be uncomfortable, and everyone can come to a civilized, equal agreement. The society would be 110 times better. Because no generation like this one has been able to see through blatant government lies and corruption. This generation, the way I see it, has the ability to start a revolution that can and could absolutely rewrite and rewire how the world functions, and start a entire domino effect to what could be the greatest revolutionary movement recorded. But for that to happen, a lot more people in society and within the generation, they need to compromise with each other. They need to talk to each other, and we all need to come to a conclusive agreement upon certain things, such as let's say Palestine, because there's still so many people out there who look at the Palestine movement and think it's dumb, or they look at what's going on in Palestine and they don't care. It's hard to sit there and watch children getting blown up and an entire genocide unfolding in front of your eyes for the last 2-3 years, and you sit there and say, "Oh no, but it was something else. It's not what it seems." I mean, it is exactly as it seems, and to sit there and try and defend it, and defend these rich billionaires that are taking part in it, they don't care about you. They don't know who you are. They don't really care about your life. You could die tomorrow. They're not gonna do anything for you. But if they died now, you'd be crying. Why? Why does that make any sense? There's no reason to defend their actions, defend a genocide, defend these type of people. As a regular person of society, your main goal should be the benefit of yourself, your own life, and the benefit of those around you, those that live with you, those that live around in your community, and the regular life of people around the world. That should be the main concern. How to benefit our planet globally, how to benefit everyone else. How can everyone live a peaceful life? Not how much can I defend this billionaire who, if I die tomorrow, won't give a shit about me. It doesn't make any sense. That's just one of those things where it's like, you need to reality check yourself and sit there and think, hey, does it really make sense for me to believe this? Or is the other side actually right this time? Is there something deeper going on that I'm choosing to exclude from my thoughts? It's arguments like that where, if it's open, if it can be talked about, if it can happen, and if people can look at each other and think about things and go through with a civilized discussion to the extent where they're having an open mind and can speak and their thoughts can be changed, our society has such a high and good opportunity to become better than it's ever been within the last 100 years, because everything is going downhill right now. And unless our generation, the Gen Z generation, and society manages to make a massive change, I think that's the only way that we could end up surviving in the end. Otherwise, I'm not sure what can happen. And you guys can come up with your own conclusion. Thank you for listening.